The excitement is building for Watch Dogs Legion coming out later this year. And with that, guys, there have been a lot of theories and a lot of speculation and talk as to what this game is all going to encompass when it releases. And what I wanted to go ahead and talk about here in this segment of the show is talk about some of the theories of Watch Dogs Legion as of late. Some of the ones that I've heard that kind of caught my eye and got me thinking myself. Even some of these have been something that I've thought of beforehand, but I definitely want to know from you guys, what do you guys think are some of the closest theories that you would say could very well be true moving into Watch Dogs Legion? So let me know, like I said, in the comment section down below, and let's get into it. So number one for me, guys, the number one theory that I've been hearing and something I've actually made a video about on the YouTube channel previously was that the Watch Dogs Legion, as in just Legion as a whole, is actually within the Hyperscape universe. And so, or Hyperscape is in the Watch Dogs universe, however you want to look at it. Hyperscape, guys, is obviously the Battle Royale that came out from Ubisoft, and it's a free-to-play BR, but it's a futuristic Battle Royale. Now, a lot of people are obviously saying that this theory is not going to be true and shows no real bearings because it's a third-person shooter, that being, of course, Watch Dogs Legion, versus a first-person shooter that is, of course, Hyperscape. However, guys, just because one is third-person and the other is a first-person does not necessarily mean that they're not within the same universe. It's pretty unlikely, but at the same time, when you look at Hyperscape, and I remember from watching others play it, I remember watching from the initial trailers and such, I thought to myself, there is an opportunity here, or a chance, that they're going to use Hyperscape to actually promote a lot of their other projects moving forward, that being Ubisoft. And Hyperscape obviously has not been quite as popular as other battle royales out there. However, this is definitely still a BR out there that could certainly, Ubisoft could use to show off some of their future projects, similar like what Call of Duty's doing with Warzone, promoting some of their, future projects and things of that nature that they're working on. So could Watch Dogs Legion be in the Hyperscape universe? I think it's possible, but it's pretty unlikely. Obviously, in Hyperscape, you're able to jump really high. You're able to do all these different maneuvers. Watch Dogs Legion is a little bit more grounded in from that standpoint. Even though you're able to hack and do things of that nature to kind of traverse the world that is around you, I just don't feel, after watching enough of Hyperscape and kind of course, seeing game footage from Watch Dogs Legion, it's certainly possible, but I don't think Ubisoft's going in that direction. That leads me to number two, which is a theory that came out was that this game is going to tie into Watch Dogs 2, or the end of Watch Dogs 2. In one way or another, Watch Dogs Legion will tie into Watch Dogs 2. And so there's a big theory here that that's probably going to happen, which obviously it's hard to say at this point in time whether or not it's going to do. I would say, guys, it's definitely possible, though. Really, any of these are all theories. Any of them are essentially possible, but I would say that the Watch Dogs 2 theory, that this is going to actually tie into Watch Dogs 2 in one capacity or another, is much more likely than that of Hyperscape. But it's hard to say. Obviously this is a game that's being presented that it's going to be, a continuation. It's not called Watch Dogs 3, which is something we have to look at, because there's a reason that they're not calling it Watch Dogs 3. They're calling this Watch Dogs Legion. Whether that means they kind of want this to actually be somewhat of a soft reboot, or they want this to be the next, the title for the next number of years, like they don't end up making a Watch Dogs 4 or something. They want this to be the game, and then they make a Watch Dogs Legion 2 kind of thing, or something of that nature. It's hard to say what direction they're thinking about going in here, but I would say that there's definitely a possibility, absolutely, that this ties in some way, shape, or form to Watch Dogs 2. That leads me to number 3, which is a more interesting theory, to say the least. One that I would certainly be open for in some capacity or another. Now, there's been a number of people that have been talking about some of the gameplay and the mechanics within Watch Dogs Legion, and one of those is the simple fact that there's a number of times where you see stealth mechanics in this game. And you know where I'm probably going with this. The thought that maybe, just maybe, this game is going to tie in, or we're going going to see a cameo or a kind of show us that this universe that is Watch Dogs Legion is also in the Splinter Cell universe. Yes, guys, Sam Fisher, could he make a cameo, or could he just be within this world as well to give us more information that, yes, they're still thinking about, Splinter Cell, which we obviously know with Elite Squad, but people have been wanting a solo, Splinter Cell game for quite some time, another property owned by Ubisoft. So one of the theories is that he is actually a part of DedSec and that he is going to essentially be a playable character at some point or another in the future, that being Sam Fisher. Now, it'd be a very interesting concept to say the least. I would absolutely be down with it, without a doubt. I'm hoping that Sam Fisher is within this universe. Part of me wants a standalone Splinter Cell game, but having a cameo like we saw in Ghost Recon Wildlands, I believe it was, with Sam Fisher being in that, and then of course him being in Elite Squad. This would be perfect. If he was a playable character, would be really awesome. If it kind of showed that, a lot of these universes are actually within, the same world. These franchises, I should say, within the same world. Kind of like Splinter Cell being in the Ghost Recon universe. Could Watch Dogs be in the same universe as Splinter Cell, and so on and so forth. It's an interesting concept, and there's a lot of people thinking that Sam Fisher's going to have something big here in this game. There's just a theory around it that maybe he's one of the leaders of DedSec that we just don't know about at this point. It's an interesting concept, to say the least, which I would be open for. Absolutely. I would be very much so open to be seeing what happens with that. I think Ubisoft would be really smart to do that. It'd be a great marketing tool as well, which obviously they haven't marketed it like that. So most likely, they're either going to want this to be a surprise or it's not happening at all. With that, that leads me to the last one, guys. And this is a really interesting one because it's hard to say whether or not, obviously with any of these theories, you kind of have to take them with a pinch of salt because there's no, these aren't confirmed. These are just, widely speculative types of theories and such. But the last one is that this game actually has no ties whatsoever to the first two Watch Dogs games, and it's completely separate, and they're kind of presenting it like this is Watch Dogs 3, and that's been kind of what has been stated by Ubisoft, that this is a continuation, but it's kind of almost a reimagining of Watch Dogs. But there's a theory that this has absolutely nothing to do with the first two Watch Dogs games. This is going to be a standalone game, and they're really banking, going all in on this Watch Dogs title to kind of lead us into the future of these games. And there's a theory that it has no ties whatsoever. We won't be seeing any ties to just Watch Dogs 1 or 2, and that it is just completely, a separate thing, kind of like a reboot, but just totally not within that same universe. And I don't believe that that this is something that I'm buying at this point in time, guys, that it's like not within the universe, because it's called Watch Dogs. It's definitely within this universe of the first two games. What that looks like, is it before, is it after, or is it in the present day? There's a lot of questions regarding that and what Ubisoft is saying, that's its continuation of Watch Dogs 2. But I think that, we might be looking too far into it at that point with that theory, just because it is called Watch Dogs. Could it be a soft reboot? Absolutely. Could it be something that they want this to be a reimagining of Watch Dogs? Absolutely. But it not being in the same universe, or, being something completely separate, like Watch Dogs and Watch Dogs 2 never happened and it's just Watch Dogs Legion, I'm not buying that for a second, because the first two games, guys, I thought were special in what they were, and obviously the gameplay and mechanics are essentially the same. Sure, they've changed things in Watch Dogs Legion, but it's overall pretty much the exact same thing, just added abilities, added mechanics, and things of that nature. But with that, guys, I want to hear your guys' thoughts, and I would love to hear some other theories. If there are other theories out there that you guys are hearing that are kind of going around the community, let me know in the comment section down below, and let's have a real conversation about it.